Hello there, I'm Scotty, and you're not. And we are here to continue March the Living Dead with Land of the Dead. And I've heard people say, after the first three, series goes to crap. Well, you know what? I like this one. Maybe it's just because of my age, and I'm more used to modern horror movies. This came out in 2004, 2005. So after Day of the Dead, George Romero, it didn't get very good reception, and George Romero was like, fine, I'm done. I'm moving away from this. And then two films came out in the same year and turned the zombie genre on its head. First, Dawn of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder. The other one, Shaun of the Dead, directed by Edgar Wright. And in fact, Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg have cameos in this film. Why didn't he do something for Zack Snyder? I don't know. But this got George Romero to come out of his semi-retirement and make Land of the Dead, which tells of a society where zombies have been, they roam the land, they've been cordoned off by electric fences, and there's now two different human societies. One, the rich, well-to-do people who live in this apartment complex tower thing, and the rest of the human race that are just living poor. And this takes place in Philadelphia, I guess. Even though they go from Philadelphia to Canada, so it has to be New York, I guess. Right? It has to be New York or something. But anyway, you could tell this was filmed in Canada, though, because some of the cast members have accents. They say a boot, and a sorry. And then there are some actors I recognize from Canadian shows, like Tony Munch, who has been in shows like Degrassi and Strange Days at Blake Halsey High and the famous Jet Jackson. And there's also Sean Roberts, who's at the beginning of this, who was in Degrassi and the Resident Evil movies. And there's an actor who was in an episode of Goosebumps. He was the vampire dude in Vampire Breath. There are actors I've seen in many of Canadian stuff. Our main character is Riley, played by Simon Baker, and for what he has to do, I think he does a good job. We also have John Leguizamo. I love John Leguizamo, but he's playing a typical asshole character here. He's playing Cholo, and he is he's like the second in command of these human resistance camp or whatever. And he is also working for the big baddie played by Dennis Hopper, who, okay, if I have to put a negative, I think Dennis Hopper's involvement in this, his villain doesn't really do anything. He's a rich hoity-toity guy who lives in this building. Cholo wants to live there, but of course, they're not going to change their society for us, no matter how much money you get. So, no. Yeah, and I do like the fact that Romero is taking what we found out in Day of the Dead, what Logan was saying about the zombies still being cognitive and being able to do things even though they're zombies. And they're getting smarter in this one. In the last one they were called dumb fucks, but they're actually getting smarter here. You can see that. And I like that, because if you just had zombies going around going, and getting shot and stuff, it would get boring, because it's not the same old dumb zombies, but they get smarter, and I think that works very well. Especially the lead zombie called Big Daddy, who is like a gas station attendant. We see that later when he pours the gas into the car. Yeah. And I thought the gore effects are a mixed aspect. Sometimes it's okay, but there's CG thrown in there, and it just makes it worse. There's some very little ones, but there's just a lot of CG. But yeah, this society, there's a lot of poor people. There's actually some zombies that they've made sort of a freak show with. And two of them are actually played by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright themselves. Romero cast him in this film because of Shaun of the Dead, because he loves Shaun of the Dead, so I love Shaun of the Dead, so yeah. And Edgar Wright, you could tell because of his hair, and Simon Pegg, he has like the red hair, but I don't know if you could tell it's him specifically. I actually like the way that society has become. Like, we're deep into this. However, something occurred to me while watching this. So there's a scene where one of the zombies attacks this woman and bites off her belly button ring. And then after that, I became privy to something I wasn't before, where they're talking about technology and there's like video games and stuff. And I'm like, wait, if this is supposed to be the same in the same universe, and it started in the 1968, video games and piercings, belly button piercings, earrings, sure, but like stuff like that wouldn't exist. There would be weapons, there would probably be some form of television, but society would not evolve technologically the way that it normally did. There would be video games, there would be stuff like that. So right away, continuity is kind of wibbly wobbly, you know? At least with the first three, they stayed true. Like, yes, you can say that some technology was a little bit more advanced, but by Day of the Dead, they had basic technology stuff. It wasn't, they were communicating by radio. They didn't talk about certain things when it was 1986, and that was the height of video games, because Nintendo came out, Atari was a thing, so 1985, same year Nintendo, I guess. But yeah, I'm just saying, if this was in that same universe, their video games wouldn't have been invented, because there would be no society left. They'd be stuck like this for years on end. It's just, I don't know. It's just a little thing that kind of made me scratch my head, made me actually think for the first time if these are supposed to be in the same continuity. It doesn't make any sense they mentioned video games. Piercings on the ears, I get, but belly button piercings, I don't know if they would think of that. Maybe someone did. I don't know. But I'm just saying. I'm also a little, like, so, Riley's goal is to get out. At the beginning of this, he's done. He wants to retire. He wants to move on, go north. And they keep telling him, hey, north's gonna be bad. And unlike Zack Snyder, they don't, hey, we made it, and then they're attacked. No, it's just simply he's ready to go. Excuse me very much. But yeah, so after the deal between Cholo and Dennis Hopper doesn't work, Cholo steals their big rig, I don't remember what it's called, and threatens to destroy the big high-rise place unless he's paid like $2 million, which, yes, there could have been an argument made that money doesn't mean anything in this society, but, you know, I just watched Cody Leach's review, and he says, oh, they're trying to get money, but money doesn't mean anything. Obviously it does if the high society people are living in a high society. Money has to mean something to someone, somewhere, for them to still have all their high society perks. So there has to be some sort of money exchange somewhere, but I see his point. Like, what's Cholo gonna do with it? Like, he was making money from Dennis Hopper so he could then pay to live in there. But if he's just going to get money now, what's he going to do with it? Is there some kind of, what's he going to spend it on? I get that. All right. But Riley shows up, and during this skirmish, most of the film, we see that these zombies are learning, and eventually they figure, hey, we're dead, we go back underwater, which I don't know why none of the humans figured that out. That's kind of a plot hole. Like, you think they would, not a plot hole, but a logic hole. You think they would have figured it out, and they didn't. They go underwater, and you get this cool shot. I think it's cool, where they lift up the stuff. Yes, it gets kind of hokey when everyone just starts to do it, but who knows? And they go out there, and eventually Leguizamo is bit, but he's still on a revenge mission. And then it cuts away from him. We don't see him again until Big Daddy is going after Dennis Hopper in the car. He attacks the driver's like, I'm out of here, and he gets killed. And then Big Daddy zombie realizes I used to be a gas attendant and starts to pump gas. I'm like, what's he doing? What are you doing? But then Leguizamo shows him, okay. So Leguizamo is obviously a zombie because of the way he's walking and getting shot and nothing's happening. And even Dennis Hopper's an idiot here. He's like, you're dead. You're dead. And then he comes in, he sees the zombie, he goes, oh, you are dead. And I'm like, you think that, you're shooting him and he's not dying. You think he was bit, And he attacks him, and then all of a sudden you see this rolling Molotov cocktail coming down to where the gas was. Pfft, explosion. Now, something I want to comment on is like, oh, I had it and I lost it. Zombies. Oh, so here's the thing. The one way to kill a zombie is to shoot him in the head. We see throughout the film that that's what they do. But there are times where just because they want to have an action scene, people are just shooting bullets where the fuck ever. And hitting them here, anywhere but the head, because we gotta keep having action scenes. That wouldn't make sense. People would just get shot and falling down. Although I do like when people get shot in the head, because they're just like, hold on, let me see if I can do it right. They get shot, and it's like, they just fall instantly. I like that. I like that. It's like, because a shot to the head for a zombie is an instant kill. And yeah, so eventually, Riley and his team have the big rig, and they're on their way. They lower the bridge, and we see there's a bunch of zombies that are fighting off. One of them attaches itself to the back, and then they start to drive off. However, because we know that there is one zombie, we know that something's going to happen here, right? Well, no. Because the zombie gets in and attacks Tony Munch. He's like, you're screaming. And when Riley goes up there, the big Samoan guy just like throws, has killed him and threw him out. It's like, what? Okay. All that build up for just a little joke? I don't know. What I did like, though, is because this shows how smart they're getting. At the beginning, they explain that they fire off fireworks, sky flowers as they call them, to distract the zombies, or stenches as they call them. And then towards the end here, you have these people are trapped behind the electric fences meant to keep the zombies out. The zombies are now in there and they're trapped. And so they set off the sky flowers, and they're like, yes, but they don't run. They just stand there, and it's like, and all of a sudden they look back down and they go after them like, uh-oh, it doesn't work anymore. Uh-oh. And yeah. And then they get there and they realize everyone is being eaten. So they fire off the missiles. killing all those zombies and the people who are already dead, but may or may not be able to return depending on how eaten they are. Who knows? But then they realized that Mulligan, a guy shown earlier at the beginning of the movie only, has saved a bunch of them, including his own son, and then they shake hands, they part their ways. And they're going to Canada, eh? And the movie ends that way. I enjoyed this movie, man. I thought it was pretty good. There were some logic gaps. There was, not very good CGI, but if the movie's enjoyable, I'm going to enjoy it. Obviously, if the movie's enjoyable, I'm not going to give it a bad score. I like this. So, what are your thoughts on Land of the Dead? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.